Let's see how we can take photos in Pro Mode on our smartphones. Hi, I'm Sina and welcome to another video. When you take a picture with your phone, it gathers light to capture the image. This process of gathering light is called exposure. Your phone needs to collect the right amount of light. Too much and the image becomes overexposed, too little and the image becomes underexposed, too dark. When you're not using Pro Mode, your phone automatically adjusts settings to achieve a balanced exposure. It uses three parameters known as exposure triangle: exposure time or shutter speed, ISO, and aperture. However, in 99% of smartphones, aperture isn't adjustable. The reason is beyond the scope of this video, so we'll only focus on exposure time and ISO. When I switch to Pro Mode on my Galaxy S21 FE, I can see these settings at the bottom of the screen. If your phone model is different, you can still find them easily. Exposure time determines how long it takes to capture a photo. This duration is usually so short that we don't notice it. Its unit is seconds. If you check the details of a photo you've taken before, you can see a number with an S next to it. That's the exposure time. It's commonly referred as shutter speed, but since speed and time have an inverse relationship, we think of it in terms of time for simplicity. The amount of light your camera collects is directly related to the exposure duration. For example, a photo taken at 1/10 of a second collects 10 times more light than one taken at 1/100th of a second. If the exposure time is too short, the image will be dark because the camera didn't have enough time to gather light. If it's too long, the image will be too bright, like an overflowing glass of water. Exposure time also affects motion. If your subject is moving and the exposure time is long, the motion will be captured in the image, resulting in motion blur. Here's an example. This photo was taken with a shutter speed of 1/30th of a second, and you can see how the movement of the car is captured. In this shot, I used the 1/1000th of a second shutter speed to freeze the motion of falling water droplet. On the other hand, by increasing the shutter speed to 13 seconds, I was able to create a smooth, silky effect on waterfall. For long exposure shots like this, you'll need a tripod because it's nearly impossible to hold your phone perfectly still for several seconds. In addition to all of these, if your hand shakes a lot and you have motion blur in your photo because of that, you need to lower the exposure time. Sometimes increasing the exposure time isn't enough or possible, especially since most mobile users shoot handheld rather than with a tripod. That's where ISO comes in. ISO is like an amplifier for light. Think of it like a volume knob on a speaker. Turning it up makes the sound louder, but it also introduces noise. Similarly, increasing ISO makes your camera more sensitive to light but reduces image quality, introducing grain or noise, especially when zooming in. The lowest ISO values, typically 50 or 100, are best for bright environments as they capture only strong lights. When using Pro Mode, you don't necessarily have to adjust both exposure time or shutter speed and ISO manually. Since smartphones lack dedicated control dials like professional cameras, adjusting these settings on a touchscreen can be slow and you might miss the moment you want to capture. On my Galaxy S21 FE, there's an option to let the phone automatically adjust ISO while I manually control exposure time or shutter speed. This helps simplify the process and ensure you get well-exposed shots. To help you understand how different exposure times or shutter speeds affect your photos, I've included several sample images with various settings. Thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, don't forget to check out the channel. If you found the channel useful, consider subscribing. I see you in the next video.